Africa has the potential to be the next continent on the rise. There's a lot going for Africa. Africa needs strengthened institutions, and we're working to build them.
Ibrahim Traore might work hand in hand with John Mahama, the new president of Ghana. And I'm saying this because Ibrahim Traore has sent a message, or has extended his heartfelt congratulations message to John Mahama after he won the election of Ghana. Now, I was asking myself, why does Ibrahim Traore has to work with John Mahama? And there is a video I found where John Mahama's speech in UN, he was talking about Africa. He was talking how to bring the better Africa. And his speech is aligned with the vision of Ibrahim Traore. Now, before I read you the message of Ibrahim Traore sending a congratulations message to John Mahama, I want you to watch this video of John Mahama speech in the UN back then when he was the president. And after watching this video, you will understand why John Mahama will work hand in hand with Ibrahim Traore. And mind you, the former president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, had a bad relationship with Ibrahim Traore, or with Burkina Faso, because he was a puppet. Let's watch this video of John Mahama and we will understand why they will work hand in hand. And again, I'll read you the message of Ibrahim Traore to John Mahama.
I am the president of the Republic of Ghana. I was born 1 year after my country gained independence from colonial domination in 1957. And the question I ask is, what happened to the ideals that gave birth to this organization, the United Nations? What happened to that enthusiasm that captured the spirit of the post-war world, that envisioned peace, safety, and security for all of mankind? What happened to the excitement at the thawing of the Cold War? And what happened to our joy at the collapse of apartheid? The era of the Cold War created a paradoxical safety and security. The bipolar world and the arms race assured mutual destruction from any nuclear war. And therefore the world was a more predictable place. Those of us in developing countries hid behind our shield of the non-aligned movement. We marched against nuclear armaments and envisioned the day the nuclear arms race would end, so that the trillions of dollars that were being spent by the superpowers on nuclear weapons will yield a dividend that will create a life of prosperity for all people on earth. President Reagan stood before the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin in 1987 and said, "Mr. Gorbachev," I quote, "Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Quotations closed. In President Reagan's words, walls cannot withstand faith, walls cannot withstand truth, and walls cannot withstand freedom. The fall of the Berlin Wall envisioned a new world, the era of globalization, an age where trade and interaction amongst people of the world would spread prosperity across the globe. It did somewhat. The rise of the Asian tigers, the emerging world, China, Brazil, South Africa, India, the turn of the millennium and the MDGs raised millions of people out of poverty. A young man in West Africa drops out of school and takes to selling petty items along the streets of the city. Agreeing with 4 of his friends, they decide to raise money and try to make it to the greener pastures of Europe. They pay their way through Niger and arrive at Agadez, from where they brave the trek of death. This is a dangerous hike across the harshest desert on earth, the Sahara. They are attacked by bandits along the way and robbed of all their money and provisions. They are rescued by some good Samaritan. 2 members of their group do not make it through the desert crossing. After months of living under the threat of death from many of the armed groups, including ISIS in Libya, they finally board an overloaded dinghy bound for Italy. Rescued from the sea after their dinghy capsized, only one of them remained, held in a refugee center in Italy. He is the lucky one, the only one of 5 friends to survive this perilous journey. How long he will remain in the detention center, he does not know. And this could be the story of any young African seeking a better life in Europe. Mr. President, all over the world, there are new walls coming up, walls that imprison us against the rest of the world. The young African refugee in an Italian detention center is facing one such new wall now. In many parts of the world, extremist forces have hijacked the dialogue, and in the millennial generation, all available cutting-edge technology is being used to spread anxieties that evoke fear and arouse our basest emotions. Hate speech is becoming common. People complain of being tired of being politically correct. In many places, xenophobia has taken over rational thinking. In the vote on Brexit, the specter of a flood of Syrian refugees was used as the instrument for propelling an exit from the European Union. It is a paradox of our world that nearly 30 years after President Reagan called for the Berlin Wall to be torn down, new walls are springing up everywhere. And yet we have the resources in this world to guarantee each person a decent life. In the implementation of the MDGs, despite the minimal resources that were injected by the wealthy nations, we managed by prioritizing our spending to put more children in school than ever before in our history. We managed to pull more than 40% of the world's people out of extreme poverty. In Valletta, the European Union put 1.8 billion euros into an emergency fund to cooperate with Africa in curbing unregulated migration. And yet, with a significant share of the world's arable lands, a youthful labor force, a significant share of the world's natural resources, a reordering of economic relations could create boundless opportunities that will keep young Africans at home and not risk their lives across these perilous journeys. Removing subsidies to farmers of the advanced world will create an even playing field for African farmers to compete. Removing revenue and non-revenue barriers to African produce would give African agriculture a fighting chance. Mr. President, some of the young Africans who hazard the desert and the Mediterranean Sea to cross to Europe from my country are young poultry farmers or other entrepreneurs who sell their shops and undertake the journey because they can no longer compete with the tons of frozen chicken dumped on African markets annually, or the adverse business environment they have to face. Africa does not need your sympathy or overseas development assistance. Africa needs a fair chance to trade with the rest of the world and amongst ourselves. The progress towards the creation of a continental free trade area is commendable and must be fast-tracked. Raising intra-African trade alone from the paltry average of 15% will create better business opportunities for African youth. We can achieve a lot in collaboration with the rest of the world, and yet we must realize that a lot also rests within our own capacity to achieve as Africans. Recently, I took the decision as president to allow citizens of other African countries traveling to Ghana to obtain visas on arrival. This would stimulate trade and investment if it were replicated across the whole of the continent. Structural reforms are required in many areas. Governance is also a critical area that requires reform in Africa. Democracy unleashes the creative juices of our citizens. Africa has made remarkable progress. Elections are held regularly, civil society groups and think tanks have become more vocal, and the media is increasingly free. And yet there's a lot more that we can do to allow Africans the space to express themselves. Democracy is not a one-size-fits-all system. Different countries are at different stages of the democratic journey. Democracy evolves and cannot be forced on a people. It doesn't help for biggest powers to go proselytizing democracy across the continent. It can have its negative consequences, as we're experiencing in parts of North Africa and the Middle East. But still, a properly functioning peer system can avoid some of the meltdowns we're experiencing in some African countries due to the desire to remain in office interminably. Mr. President, the mistake with Africa is that we're seen as a homogeneous unit and treated as such, not taking cognizance that we are a whole continent with different aspirations, different cultures, democracies, and even economic development. Human progress is not a seamless movement forward. It encompasses periods of reversal, mistakes, fumbling, and even falling. All parts of the world have been through this. They have learned from their mistakes, they've picked themselves up after a fall, and they've continued moving forward. Africa must be allowed the same latitude. A few years ago, the term African Rising painted a continent on the move. Recent headwinds experienced due to China's slowdown and the collapse of commodity prices have got some African skeptics gloating again over how nothing good can come out of this continent. Africa is a continent of 54 countries at different stages of progress and development. And there must be room for us to make our mistakes and learn from those mistakes. Africa has the potential to be the next continent on the rise. There's a lot going for Africa. There are many success stories on the continent. Africa has the fastest growing population, meaning a very youthful labor force. It has the fastest growing middle class with increasing disposable incomes. It has the fastest growing information and communication technology networks in the world. Africa needs strengthened institutions, and we're working to build them. We must ingrain transparency and integrity more and more in our governance systems. President Obama said on his historic visit to Ghana that what Africa needs is strong institutions. We must strengthen our institutions of governance to eliminate the incidence of corruption that impoverishes our people. Mr. President, my country, Ghana, is a part of Africa's success story. I'm proud of my country.
Welcome back. After watching this video, I now understand why Ibrahim Traore sent these congratulation messages to John Mahama, the president of Ghana. John Mahama was the president of Ghana back then before the coming of Nana Akufo-Addo, but he was overthrown from power and Nana Akufo took over the presidency of Ghana. And since then, Ghana has been depreciating. Ghana was a very pivotal country in Africa. Ghana was a very good country in Africa in terms of economy. It was growing gradually. But since former President Nana Akufo took over power, the country started going down. And as we know, a lot has been said about Nana Akufo being the puppet to the Western countries. And that's why he never chose to support Ibrahim Traore when Ibrahim Traore removed themselves, or when Burkina Faso exit from ECOWAS. He went to USA. He spoke a lot about Burkina Faso. You have seen the videos. But in this video of John Mahama has come out openly saying that Africa, we don't need favors, that Africa has a better future. Africa having a young generation, we have a better future. And by doing this, he has invested he invested heavily in education, free education. It is said free education, it is coming back to Ghana. Free secondary education coming back to Ghana. John Mahama said that free education is here to stay in Ghana. And that's an amazing thing, because when you focus in education, quality education to their generation, quality education to the youths, it will bring change, because we all need knowledge, technology, IT, everything concerning knowledge. And all of this will come from education. After hearing this speech of John Mahama, now you know why Ibrahim Traore had to send this congratulation message to John Mahama, because their stars are aligning. I have seen the agenda of Ibrahim Traore, or I've listened to the agenda of Ibrahim Traore, how he will bring change to Africa, how he will bring change to Burkina Faso. And whatever John Mahama is saying, it is true. They are speaking the same, they have the same vision, and they have the same agenda. The agenda is to turn the resources of Africa to be the real deal of Africa, is to turn Africa to be the best is to turn Ghana to be the best. And he is saying that we have the resources to do that. We have the capability to do that. It's just we need to wake up. As African countries, we need to wake up. And if John Mahama means this, that means that Ghana will come back again strong and stronger. Because the economy of Ghana was down. Everything was going down. The cedis was depreciating. It was too bad. Ghanaian had to go to the street to protest, saying about hunger. And Ghana is one of the best countries, or one of the number one countries that produce cocoa. It exports cocoa. Having these resources, having this fertile soil, having these people, Ghanaians people are people who work in any condition. They are so outgoing, just like Nigerians. They just don't sit. Having all this, Ghana still managed to go down. But John Mahama, if this is the vision, if this is the agenda, then Ghana will come back again. Now, I want to read to you the message of Ibrahim Traore to John Mahama, of course, Burkina Faso president. Ibrahim Traore, he extended congratulations message to Mahama. And this was the message. The message was shared on social media on 9th December. It is said this: I extend my warmest congratulations to President John Dramani Mahama for his resounding victory in the presidential election this Saturday, December 7th, 2024. Now, Captain Traore further expressed confidence to Mahama's ability to foster regional cooperation. Saying this, I express hope that his mandate at the head of the sister republic of Ghana will see the strengthening of the age-old relations of good neighborliness between our two countries, and that together we will build a stronger and better integrated sub-regional space for the happiness of our people. Okay, that was the message of Ibrahim Traore to John Mahama. When you see this message, it tells you something. These two people, they might work together. Let's watch. Okay? But if they work together, it will be the best interest for the people of Ghana. It will be the best interest for the people of Burkina Faso. It will be for the best interest for Africans. We are looking forward to see Ghana trying to shake, because John Mahama has come back when things is changing. People are sending France away from their countries. People are saying no to neo-colonization. I want to see what John Mahama will do. Working together of Mahama and Ibrahim Traore will be of great, because we need leaders who can change Africa. We need leaders who have vision for Africa. We need leaders who are not the puppets to the West. We need leaders who have the interest of the people, interest of Africans. Imagine Africa, we are suffering. We have this hunger, water crisis, wars, poor education, poor health. We have a lot that's going on, and it can change in a fingertip, just like this. Everything can change. But if we find, or if we get a good leader, and a good leader is what we want. We don't need a politician. Politician is he who lies a lot, for example, because he wanna achieve something for himself. But leaders want to achieve something for the people. A leader wants to change his village. A leader wants to change his entire country. So we, as I'm looking, I don't know. I'm not sure why Ghanaians chose back John Mahama, but they have a reason why they chose John Mahama back to the seat. They had an option of the other candidate, but because the other candidate was for the government, this was the only option. At least they tested the presidency of John Mahama, so they know what they are bringing to themselves. Okay, but again, when I see Ibrahim sending this, and when we find a good leader to Ghana, Ghana can be one of the best countries in Africa. When we find only 5 or 6 good presidents or good leaders in Africa, I think we will have a better tomorrow. We'll have a better future. A better Gen Alpha or Generation Alpha will come back. When they come here, they will find things being like as better as for us. Maybe we will not live to see the change, but this is the fight that we are supposed to be in it. This is a process, and we are part of the process. I am part of the process of changing the future. I am part of the process of spreading a good message, of spreading heartwarming message to the people of Africa, of spreading the message of unity, of spreading the unity of oneness to the people of Africa. This is the process. And on this process, we need good leaders, leaders who will lead us. We need Moses. Even though we will not see the promised land, maybe, but we need Moses who will take the entire generation to the mountain, to see the better tomorrow. We need good leaders who will have the interest of the people. Now, John Mahama and Ibrahim Traore, I'm looking forward for them working together. I don't know if they will work together, but I'm looking forward for them working together. I'm looking forward for Ghana President John Mahama saying this. You know what? I don't think this ECOWAS is a thing for us. Let's reinstitute. And believe me, John Mahama, Ibrahim Traore, the president of Mali, Niger, and all those presidents who have the future, when they unite, West Africa will be great. Because West Africa is one of the part of Africa that produce a lot of. They have, it's the home of greatness, if I'm not wrong. So can you imagine having no puppet leader in West Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria? It will be great. Because all these puppet leaders, they ruin everything. They ruin even sports. Okay? The future of the youth, they ruin. Agriculture, they ruin everything. Education, health. They are being placed there to see there is no future for the Africa. Because, as someone said, Africa is being designed to be poor. And for you to design this Africa to be poor, you need someone from inside. And these people from inside are these presidents, these leaders who we choose. They are the one from inside. So he is the head of the country, but again, he's taking out the country. We saw the candidates of UN when they were speaking, and they came and talked about Pan-Africanism. I believe John Mahama is very good in Pan-Africanism because when he was president, he allowed visitors to attain visa on arrival. And that is, someone coming from Kenya, someone coming from Sudan, going to Ghana, attaining visa on arrival was a great move. It is a show of Pan-Africanism, a show of unity. We are Africa. We are one. We don't need divisions. We don't need all these borders and everything. If I'm from Kenya, I want to go to Nigeria, I want to go to Ghana. It's my home too. And I'm seeing myself going to Ghana on this tenure of John Mahama. In 2025, I give him 3 months. He does well. I'm going to come to Ghana. I want to see what he will do. Of course, don't forget to subscribe on this YouTube channel. If you have something to say, just comment down there. If you are not happy with my reaction, just say, I will change whatever you want me to change, okay? If you are happy, like, subscribe, comment. You can say thanks on super thanks again. Until next episode, peace be with you.